Oh, hi there. Liz Truss and Ben Wallace need to read this, and all those other gung-ho fools that are beating the drum for war in Ukraine. Gosh, I was staggered when Britain's Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said she would support those who want to travel to Ukraine to join the international fighting force. And she said, this is a battle for democracy. And I had to wonder at those who've left British shores to fight overseas for democracy, only to have their citizenships revoked sometime later by the same government. The only difference, as I can see, between those who want to fight in Ukraine and those who want to fight in Palestine, Syria, Libya, or Iraq is skin color and faith. Since there are at least 100,000 Muslims living in Ukraine, in the capital, would she be happy if they were joined by their brothers and sisters living elsewhere in Europe, including the UK? Truss told the BBC on Sunday morning that it was up to people to make up their own decisions. But she also said Ukrainians were fighting for freedom, not just for Ukraine, but for the whole of Europe. Why is democracy more precious in Europe than, say, in Syria, where dictator Bashar al-Assad is trying to crush the last vestiges of a revolution in which Syrians dared to dream and aspire for democracy? Why can't Palestinians repel a brutal occupation with the help of those around the world who believe passionately in Palestinians' right to exist? I know many would like to go out and join Palestinian forces in their defensive fight for survival against Israel. The same goes for occupied Kashmir, where India is rolling out policies that are genocidal. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has also urged foreign nationals to join the defense of security in Europe. Note his constant use of the term Europe. Ukraine is now setting up an international legion of volunteers for foreigners wishing to join the Ukrainian army in its fight to repel Russian forces. On his official website, he pointed out this is not just Russia's invasion of Ukraine, this is the beginning of a war against Europe, against European unity. Palestinian leaders have espoused similar words about securing the future of Islam's third holiest site, Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, which often comes under attack by occupation forces in Israel. If an international cry to protect Al-Aqsa went out to millions of Muslims across the West, would Liz Truss approve? I very much doubt it. Zelensky has sent out, through his website, invites to everyone who wants to join the defense of security in Europe, and the world may come and stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukrainians against the invaders of the 21st century. I wonder how Britain would react if Ismail Haniyeh, leader of Hamas, urged Muslims around the world to come and support the fight to save Palestinians from being wiped out from their lands, especially those already suffering from the brutal illegal occupation by Tel Aviv's troops. Some of those troops actually do come from Britain and Europe, but hey, that's okay because they're white and Jewish and defending stolen homelands from Palestinians who are invariably olive-skinned and Arabs. So, like, we don't care again about them, do we? Back in 2019, I visited an amputee clinic where traumatized Syrian children were being taught to walk again. I met a British doctor, teachers and aid workers who had had their citizenship revoked because they were working in rebel-held Idlib and surrounding territories. Unable to make a legal challenge from a war zone, they are now in a legal black hole. They don't have a country. As I say, their British citizenship has gone without a challenge without an appeal because they're in a war zone. They hadn't picked up weapons or gone out to fight, but they wanted to help the ordinary Syrian people in their struggle for democracy. And the best way they could was by using the skills they had. All of those experts must be wondering at the double standards of this British government, which has often been accused of hypocrisy, Islamophobia, and racism. We've got all three at play here. When people are in trouble, it is human nature to want to help in any way we can. I would not dream of criticizing anyone who wanted to join an international fighting force to help the Ukrainians in their struggle. But I would ask that if someone wants to show similar support for the citizens of Palestine, Chechnya, Libya, Syria, Yemen, occupied Kashmir, and other trouble spots in the world, then they should be allowed to help their fellow man. Back in 1930s, around 60,000 young people left North America and Europe to join the International Brigade, groups of foreign volunteers who fought on the Republican side against nationalist forces during the Spanish Civil War. It was 1936 to 1939. But what is rarely reported is that while many left from Britain to fight with the revolutionaries, there was also a smaller number who left to fight with the fascists. There was no recourse or fallout when both sides returned to the UK. While Truss and UK Defence Secretary Ben Tonto Wallace have been incredibly gung-ho over events unfolding in Ukraine, the one thing they have been insistent upon is that British soldiers will not be sent there to fight. So I guess they're sending other Brits out to do the dirty work for them. However, allowing British citizens to go there and join this new international brigade needs clarity. Why should defending democracy in Ukraine be acceptable, but not against tyrants, dictators, and authoritarian regimes elsewhere in the world? I have a feeling that this is a question that is going to be asked in British courts in the very near future. There's trouble on the horizon over this, Liz Truss. Let's see you get out of this one. And I'm going to give the final words to this week's midweek crisis to a little girl from Ukraine. Are you listening, Vladimir Putin?
Владимир Путин, обращаются к вам дети Украины. Отзовите свои войска.